All right, everyone. Today I wanted to help answer a very important question, and that is, should you continue to save your gems for Lost Vein Meliodas, or should you go with this new alternative plan, and that is to now save your gems for a brand new, extremely powerful unit that just came out on the JP version of the game, Green Summer EASTIN. And I actually saw in yesterday's video and discussion about Lost Vein Meliodas that there were a decent amount of people who are actually going for this alternative plan instead. And what I wanted to do is kind of have this discussion as well as share with you guys my thoughts and kind of how I would break down this situation here, because we have a very interesting dynamic now. And Lost Vein Meliodas has been known for a very long time to just be a complete game changer. And it's important to note that the difference between Lost Vein Meliodas' release and the releases that we've had so far is very, very big. I mean, the power creep between the units that we've had so far and now Lost Vein potentially coming out soon, it's on a whole new level. And that's really important. That's going to factor in to an important point in this actual discussion right here. Now, another really important point in this discussion is the fact that Green Summer EASTIN just came out on the JP version. And if you take a look at the timeline, this is the release of banners on JP. If we go to Lost Vein Meliodas, for the JP timeline, we have a release at the end of March. Now, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom of the list, we have one of the very recent releases at the middle of July, Green Summer EASTIN. And you can see here that there is quite a few units before the release of Green EASTIN after Lost Vein came out on JP. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking the exact same thing too. And that is, clearly Global is going at a much faster pace. So even though Lost Vein Meliodas came out, late March for JP, Green EASTIN came out middle of July. What is that? March, so April, May, June, 3.5 or so months. It's probably not going to be a 3.5 month difference for Global. And I absolutely think that you are right on that. I think that the time difference between these two units coming out is going to be a lot shorter, at least based on what's been going on with Global so far. But another really important point to make here, and this is probably the biggest point that I want to make, is think about it. By the time that we get Lost Vein Meliodas, and by the time that we do end up getting Green Summer EASTIN, there's probably now going to be another unit on the JP version of the game that is going to be more desirable to summon for. And now everybody's going to say, well, I'm actually going to be skipping out on Lost Vein Meliodas, I'm going to be skipping out on Green Summer EASTIN, and I'm going to be summoning for this unit instead. And this essentially becomes an endless cycle here, is you really have to be careful looking too closely at whoever you believe to be the most powerful unit, because by the time that they actually come out, everything might have changed by that point. And now that you might have wanted to summon for them, your mind might actually be changed. So, this is something that's probably going to happen again and again, and it's normal. It happens throughout the lifespan of any games like this. But it's important because, when it comes to deciding who to summon for, it's important to find a balance not only between who is the most powerful, but also what makes the most sense for you, your own goals, and just kind of the overall lifespan of the game, if that makes sense. Now, the reason why I still think Lost Vein Meliodas is absolutely going to be on the top of the priority list is a couple of other major factors as well. And going back to that point of when Lost Vein Meliodas comes out, his power creep is on a whole new level compared to any of the other releases that we've had. We've had several meta shifts lately. Pierce, Mono Red, we had before Pierce, crazy stuff. But right now, it's not like you absolutely have to have one particular team or one particular unit in order to completely crush PvP. You can find ways to make other stuff work. It might be more difficult at certain times than others, but this really all completely changes when Lost Vein Meliodas comes out. And especially if you are somebody who really does like to compete in PvP, if you end up skipping out on Lost Vein Meliodas for another unit, whether it's Green EASTIN or somebody else, you are going to really struggle in that competitive aspect of PvP. Now, if that's something that doesn't bother you, that's totally fine. But it's really important to bring that up, is whatever that time difference is between Lost Vein Green EASTIN, whoever the next super meta unit is going to be, you know, it really is a big difference between Lost Vein coming out and, you know, Red Escanor or Red King or Blue Demon Meliodas or so on and so forth. It's just, he's really, truly that good. So you also have to be comfortable with that if you decide to skip out. Now, I won't lie though, Green EASTIN is very, very good. And I think on the JP version of the game, I don't follow it super closely. I don't play JP myself. I'll take a little bit of a peek here and there, but I also don't follow it extremely closely because we've clearly seen Global do things quite a bit differently. But I don't want to take away in this discussion the fact that Green EASTIN is incredibly, incredibly good. And her passive is absolutely bonkers. Like, this passive is insane. Increases all allies' pierce rate, crit chance, and crit damage, all allies, by the way, by 5% per debuff on enemies. Not just one enemy, but all the enemies that you are facing. Limit of 8 times applies when entering battle. Now, this unique alone is insane, right? But then, all her other cards work really, really well together. So you have her first card inflicts weak point damage equal to 120% of attack on one enemy. Now, right now, you can't see it. She doesn't have a way to apply debuffs, but that's where her second card comes in here. So already, right off the bat, you have her passive, which is going to give a bonus to not just her, but your entire team. And it's not just attack, it's all of those attack-based stats right there, right? It's pierce, crit, and crit damage based off of debuffs. Then you have a skill 1 that is weak point, which is also based off of debuffs. And finally, you have her second card here, which is the card that actually applies the debuffs itself. Rank 1 disables recovery skills on all enemies for 2 turns. I mean, that as well is extremely, extremely powerful. Then the rank 2 disables recovery skills and prevents the ultimate gauge from filling up. Another incredibly important debuff that is very, very difficult to deal with. And that's also going to improve the power of her unique as well. And finally, her rank 3 is going to disable recovery skills, prevents ultimate move gauge, and decreases attack by 20% on all enemies for 3 turns. So, you know, if you're facing 3 enemies, you've got 3 debuffs on each enemy. That's 9 debuffs. You're going to be at the maximum of the 8 stacks that you can end up getting for her passive, just from that rank 3 right there. And even if you can't use the rank 3, the rank 2, if you're facing 3 enemies, is going to end up giving you 6 stacks of the debuff, which is still really nice. That's 30% extra pierce rate, crit chance, and crit damage on all allies. So you could see that, you know, the power creep, the usefulness of units and cards, and just overall synergy is truly insane. Like, this is a crazy, crazy skill kit right here, and I could totally see how people are saying that they really, really want to save up and make sure that they can get Green Summer EASTIN when she actually does come out. So I'm not discounting her at all. She is very, very powerful. If I played JP a little bit more, I would know exactly how well she works against Lost Vein Meliodas, how well she works with him. That's something I haven't really done a whole lot of looking into. But, you know, by the time that Lost Vein comes out, and then by the time that Green Summer EASTIN comes out, she should actually be an original banner, right? Now, I don't know too much about this, which is why I want to keep this part of the video pretty limited here. But based off of what Global has done so far, when we actually get her, I'm really hoping there's a good chance that she ends up coming on like a step-up banner, 242 gems, something like that. It's also important to really round things off here, is it's important to have fun with the game and not think of things only so far ahead. It's fine to be prepared, which is why I wanted to make the Lost Vein Meliodas video yesterday, but if you only look at the absolute best and you only look so far ahead at very, very certain things, it does have the potential of taking away a lot of the enjoyment for the game. So, you know, I think both options are reasonable. I would still caution against skipping out on Lost Vein Meliodas just because of how strong he is. But, you know, this is kind of one of those discussions that it's really important to kind of add everything up together before you really come to any certain conclusions. So I hope that at least the information or the thoughts that I shared with you guys in this video helped provide at least somewhat of guidance if you guys were kind of wondering about this discussion here. But I'm going to leave it here. I don't want to be too overwhelming. I don't want to get too carried away as well, or I'm going to have no idea what to end up doing, and I'm going to be going too crazy on summons and banners. But, you know, I will definitely be summoning for both. I'm not free to play those, so that's an important distinction to make. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Really do appreciate all the support, everyone. Over 7,000 subscribers. Thank you, thank you. If you want to help out as well, leaving a quick like means more than you can imagine. So thank you to all of you who decide to do that. And more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross Global videos should be popping up on the screen right about now, or the suggested videos to right below. Feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, take care, everyone. Have a great day. This is Salt of the Salty Goat, signing out.